Hello and welcome to this session where you will learn what behavioral sciences and data analytics are behind available real-time feedback solution. As a former student and trainee, I realized that feedback as of today is broken. You want to know why of these strong statements? Well, stay with me. Educational institutions put their focus on key performance indicators such as grades and very little efforts on the so-called key behavioral indicators such as the trainee's engagement and motivation or trust and relationship between the class and the trainers. The main tool today to assess students' feedback are the surveys at the end of the course, which present many challenges. They are long and boring. What is done is done. They are slow to process the data. As they're answered only one time, the day mood of the students can affect the way they answer. And the answers are anchored generally to very positive or very negative events. And through our research, by talking with several users, we realized that 40% of the trainees can't make their opinion known. 50% don't think that their feedback is taken into consideration, and there is a very low answer rate, and this costs institutions a lot of money. Do you want to know what trainees and trainers really think about that survey? Well, it's not effective. It's bland and imprecise. It's too long. It's useless. These are some of the comments that we receive from the users. Those implications have several consequences. So first of all, the trainer don't have the right information in time to improve the quality of the course, and this leads to lower engagement of the participants. Administrations waste a lot of time in coordinating all the activities of a course, and this costs them around €120 a year of manual hours and work. Team uses several different platforms to manage the course, and this leads to decentralized data. If you have to use one platform for the registration, one platform for the feedback, one platform for the content, the different platforms don't really talk to each other. And finally, most learning management systems don't offer the ability to receive continuous feedback. And this leads to uncertainty and don't know what exactly the students are going through. The mission of Wyblo platform is to turn feedback into smart decisions. In other words, using real-time formative feedback to increase the quality, engagement, and performance of the courses. You might be thinking, hey, that is easier said than done. You're right. This is why you're still watching this and listening, right? So stay with me. In these sessions, you will learn how real-time feedback loops can be implemented in each course. And based on our research and track record with several institutions, I will guide you through the key drivers of a successful feedback system. In particular, we'll answer the following questions. What are the pillars of engagement that influence the trainee's performance? How should we assess such pillars? How often we should collect feedback? Who should receive such feedback? And what action should be taken based on the results we receive? So first of all, let's define what we mean by engagement and the pillars we assess. Through a literature review of what defines trainees' engagement and motivation, we derive the following engagement framework. So there are 11 pillars composed of the interest in the subjects, clarity of the goals, exposure to new concepts, learning progress, sense of control, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, self-confidence, social interactions, and the core of all, trust between the trainer and the trainees, and the flow states, so the balance between the challenges and the skills of the students. So knowing what to measure is not enough if you don't know how. When answering questions, we're often confronted with ratings and Likert scales. But how can a number or an I agree resonate with the person answering? In other words, what a number means to you can have a different meaning to someone else. Or even worse, what does a number mean to you? To overcome these biases, we developed the so-called psychological hypothetical projective questions, which are a set of questions, each with 4 hypothetical statements in which the trainees can project their situation in. The answer provided to some of these questions are then converted through our proprietary algorithm into chart representing the 11 pillars showed before. How does it happen? every answer is assigned with a certain weight affecting specific pillars. So the input is converted into the output. After knowing what to measure and how, we need to understand when to do so and how often. We now know that feedback at the end of the course is not working. So the answer is anonymous continuous feedback during the course. And it works as follows. You have the course, the session. You provide feedback after the class, which only take 80 seconds to be answered through the platform. You can check right away the results because they're updated in real time, and you can make changes if necessary or answer the question from the students. We recommend a weekly feedback collections and interpretation so that at least you have the weekend to think through what can be improved. Now that we know what to measure, how to measure, and when to measure, let's see who should get these insights. Traditionally, trainers and organizations get the feedback, but that is not enough. To empower the students of their own learning experience, they should also get their custom results. Why? Because they can self-reflect on what is working and what's not working for them and take proactive actions to improve their experience. And the same works with the professors who can understand during the course what could be improved. Because let's face it, we might all understand that we have some issues, but if we don't have the awareness to understand what it is, we can't really take actions to improve. And that leads us to the next concept, which is, after everything we said on feedback, what should we do with it? Well, the results of the pillars can have automatic pedagogical interpretation of the value, as we see here for the trust. So a high level of trust means that there is a good relationship between students and professor, and this leads to a facilitated learning process. Another way to take action is the so-called dashboard rating. So with, for example, Wyblo provides to pedagogists which can sit with the professor and read the result together if the professor on its own cannot come up with some next steps. Or maybe your institution already have a department which can interpret the results and come up with pedagogical or psychological recommendations. This is where we're also going to provide real-time recommendations into the platform automatically. To validate the outcomes of the Wyblo system, we wrote the paper Rapid Educational Improvement Using Wyblo, Insights from Continuous Students Feedback, which got accepted into the European Conference on Innovation and Entrepreneurship of Lisbon. These are just some of the quotes that came from that paper, from which we figure out the table in the previous slides. So a great example of technological innovation, or I have the possibility to memorize everything about my student's opinion. Immediacy is the added value and is definitely a new way of communication. What I showed you so far is the solution we implemented in universities. Now we're expanding the product towards the professional training providers by delivering a real-time feedback analytics, data management, and process automation. Thank you a lot for your attention, and if you have any questions or wish to connect with us, please send us an email, and here you can have our private ones, or simply submit the following form and we'll get back to you. Thank you.